I mean, it has been 2 years since Liquid last made playoffs. Last year, you guys were fighting to avoid relegations. And now today, you lift the trophy. You've become the NALCS Spring Champions, and you will hoist a banner in the NALCS Battle Arena. What does it all mean?
This is just an incredible moment. I mean, I think more so than any other season and any other team, there's been such a sign of strength from these guys that is just inspiring. You know, these guys are so strong and they deserve every moment. And thank you to all the fans supporting Team Liquid and supporting the players. It's just incredible. It feels amazing.
This is a truly emotional win, I see, for you and for everyone here. I mean, for the team itself, how important is this victory?
You know, this victory means a lot. It's, I think, the first step of many steps. We built this team to really show that NA has a presence on the world stage. So this is the first step of many steps for us to do that. And I think we just hope that we can do NA proud at MSI, and that's the next step.
Lifting the trophy right there. And a lot of people had said spring split, all the success paid by Steve. But obviously a lot of the acquisition, it was more than just the acquisition. Tell me about the hard work that all of this team put together to get to where they are today.
Yeah, I mean, this team has obviously worked really hard, that goes without saying, but they've sacrificed so much. And I think one of the biggest and most inspiring things about this team is just the sign of strength. You know, from the community, it's just been like an outpouring of support for us. We had a rough patch in the middle of the split, and we just really pushed it into gear. And for the thousands of messages that we got from the community and all of our fans saying, you guys can do this, it was so touching, so thank you.
Definitely a well-deserved win. Steve, congratulations again on your victory. Back to the guys at the desk.
Thank you very much, Avli. Great to hear from Steve. I know he's been looking for this title for quite a long time. We'll hear from the rest of Team Liquid in just a moment. But before we do that, Mark, I want to turn to you, a guy who's worked closely with this organization.
Yeah, I mean, the whole reason I'm here today is because Steve gave me the chance way back, and then I worked with them for a while. And I don't think anyone cares more about this than him. Obviously, everyone on stage is going to love this, but he's always tried so hard. And I think he's had his mistakes. They've made some all over the years. But my first year there, like, we went through Zekent, Saint, Bunny, and, you know, Xpecial all in a row, and he's always a guy who's pushing his team as hard as he can possibly push them, and it's great to finally see it pay off for him.
Very much deserved. Jat?
Yeah, and also the manner in which they did it. You look at their playoff run from quarterfinals to here, they're 9-1. Like, against the best teams in the league, 3-0 Cloud9, 3-0 Echo Fox, and 3 sub-30-minute games in the finals. This is as resounding of an NALCS champion as we've had, even though the split itself was so chaotic.
Breathe it in, Team Liquid and Team Liquid fans. It's a much-deserved championship title for you guys in the new system. But now I want to talk about how they did it in this third game here, because once again, throughout this series, we saw looks from 100 Thieves, opportunities to take it and to push them further. And it started very early on in this one, Azale. Top lane focus from 100 Thieves, and Impact having to deal with a lot of stuff being thrown his way.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of bans kind of throw in the way of Impact. They get it in the draft, they get this advantageous matchup, and then they go top time and time again. Meteos lying in wait, and they're able to get somebody massively ahead, a double kill. And really, from here, you have to feel like the game was in 100 Thieves' hands.
Yeah, you expected it to be that way. It was level 6 versus level 4 by the time they tried a redive up top lane, which doesn't quite go well. This is where it kind of started to fall apart for 100 Thieves.
Impact plays this brilliantly.
Yeah, absolutely. And the fact that he's able to kind of absorb this pressure so often in so many games while the rest of his team is getting stuff done elsewhere on the map that they'll eventually answer back for. But the fact that, big mistake there by Someday, obviously, but well capitalized on.
Yeah, I mean, I think Impact is playing these as well as he possibly could have, but I also think, you know, Someday gave that one away, right? Even if you play it perfectly, you shouldn't be able to survive. And I think, you know, 100 Thieves, with the initial early lead that they had, it was a black cleaver to the biggest component that Impact had was a ruby crystal, right?
Like, exactly.
At that point, I think you just leave this in isolation. You allow that to be a 1v1. You ward up for the top side, protect your top laner, but then you try to get your mid laner ahead. Then you try to help your other lanes because, you know, they weren't really ever able to keep that 1v1 and extend the advantage.
Right, and while we saw Team Liquid pick up a couple return kills in each of those skirmishes, we saw what that gold differential was in the top lane, up over 2K at at just the 10-minute mark, from that point onward, you're thinking, hey, easy split push, 1-3-1 to victory, or hey, let's transfer that lead to another lane. But that's not what happens, and that's because of Pobelter and Xmithie working in tandem to get them back in it.
And I think it shows the resiliency of Team Liquid that they've had all playoffs as well. They had a 7,000 gold deficit in the quarterfinals against Cloud9, and they just continually found plays that were staying away from the super strong Nard. Bottom lane ganks, mid lane ganks, taking objectives. It was very impressive.
And I think that's the thing that Isaac was talking about, where there's just too much focus on that top side, because while you continue to go top and you don't even execute that cleanly, Pobelter is going to start going elsewhere on the map, and he makes a ton of huge plays to get Doublelift ahead. And then once Doublelift's ahead, they have pressure in the mid lane, and they do a great job rotating to deny the 1-3-1 that should have been set up for.
Exactly, and if you are going to overemphasize top, if you are going to do that, you have to execute perfectly, right? You have to make sure there are no mistakes, there are no free kills given over, because you need to be converting on the Rift Herald, you need to be converting on turrets, and really creating a massive amount of pressure.
And again, you look at that gold graph, it looks incredibly lopsided, but 2.7K before 10 minutes as a team gold lead was actually one that we would a lot of times be calling insurmountable. And then it pales in comparison to the red side of the gold graph there, only because of what Team Liquid did once they got rolling.
It's such a fast game that usually if that increases that, you think that's 15, 20 minutes, but that's pre-10-minute lead there for,
and it was
for them.
all focused almost on one guy, which is even more hard to kind of come back from, because you have this super powerful Gnar up on the top side.
Right, but let's now take a step back from the game itself and recognize what Team Liquid has just accomplished. The players on the stage, Doublelift grabbing his 4th championship on a 3rd team. You've got Pobelter and Xmithie now adding to it with a 2nd team for themselves. I mean, all of these guys, Ole picking up his 1st title in a region. This is a big moment for a lot of people. And to have made this statement based on all the criticism that was thrown their way leading into the split, it's got to feel good.
Especially because so many of them came from so many different backgrounds at that point, where Doublelift was getting kicked off TSM. You have Impact choosing to leave C9 and showing that, like, I want to go somewhere else. And getting his 1st title after being with them for so long, like, it means so much to so many people.
Yeah, Doublelift has won 3 of 4 titles now. The one time he didn't win the title, he wasn't even playing in the LCS until the very end, when he kept Team Liquid in the league, by the way, by going in for the promotion
down
tournament.
payment.
And his total playoff stats are insane. He has actually finished with the highest playoff KDA in the history of NALCS playoffs, 35.5 across the 10 games that he's played. 35.3, but basically the same thing. Absurd.
We'll give it to you.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. Yep, there it is right there. Highest in playoff history. That's nothing to scoff at right there. Zale, more thoughts?
I mean, one of the coolest things to me about Doublelift's success is not just that he won championships on 3 different teams, but he was like the face of a lot of these rosters. He was a superstar on each of these
He's
teams.
not riding coattails.
Exactly. Like, he's not just along for the ride. He has been making waves and been one of the most dominant players on 3 different teams for so many years in the NALCS. And in a lot of ways, he is perhaps the most dominant North American player of all time.
Hey, correct me if I'm wrong. Feel free to stop me, but I do feel like this is one of the most team-centric victories we've seen yet. Again, the idea that Doublelift and Ole were rocks in the bot lane for these 3 games in a row. Pobelter and Xmithie dueling up together to roam and help everyone out. Impact absorbing so much pressure, bringing out the Singe pick in game 1 to make 100 Thieves think twice. I mean, everyone played a major role in this. That's without recognizing the support staff, as you see on your screens now, that's been behind them this entire split long.
Yeah, I mean, their organization is huge. They have so much help coming in, sports psychologists, chefs, the Alienware training facility that they've been talking about. Like, they are so invested in the scene, and you can just see that it's finally paid off all that investment.
Very much so. In just a few minutes, we'll have the opportunity to talk to the 5 players that took the victory here today in such dominant fashion. We see the trophy being lifted one more time by Steve. Doublelift getting his shot at it as well. I love to see the smiles on the faces of all the players.
Yeah, and even just Xmithie, who I think has always been a soft-spoken, almost leader for this team, especially with his play in games here. The fact that he controlled that jungle matchup for so much of it. They probably had something like 12 Drakes to 1 in this series, even when they didn't have some of the early game jungle pressure. He has been such a performer throughout so many years, but specifically in this series and this year.
All right, well, it takes a team to earn a championship, and every moving part was flowing perfectly to earn Team Liquid the title. But Finals MVP will be going to Pobelter for his performance here in Miami.
Azir, baby, he destroyed with this pick this series.
Oh, my God. This play right here is beautiful.
I mean, it wasn't just his mechanical play, though. One of the things that really impressed me was he's laning against Atlia, he's laning against a Ryze, and he's roaming more than his opponent. This guy was everywhere and really a big factor in their win.
Slick. Yeah.
So, right into the 4th shot. Right.
Oh, that's a highlight play. Like, that's going to be in montages for years to come.
I love it. That and the
beautiful.
Rift Herald 4-man stream of shuffle, especially to put the Ezreal back into the pit. I mean, it was a tough call, let's be honest. The voting came down to the wire there because, again, all of the members on Team Liquid did perform to a high level today.
At different points, everyone's shown. Like, Smithy won them game one, I think you can say, with that Baron steal. You have Doublelift and Ole playing fantastic all series long, always winning their lane, never falling behind. And then, obviously, Impact up in the top side, having that singed in game one, throwing them for a loop, and really doing just fantastic work all series.
Yeah, taking a look at those stats, those are pretty. I like the kill participation percentages, again, showing so much that it was a team effort and that their advantages came when they grouped up. It wasn't necessarily individual skirmishes in place.
And it's got to be vindicating for Pobelter. He's talked for so long about wanting to be recognized as one of the best, if not the best, mid laners in North America. It's not Jensen sitting on that stage. It's not Bjergsen. It's Pobelter.
They weren't even here today,
man. 3-0 and getting that finals MVP.
Well, it ties back into the beginning of the split where for a little bit of time we were entertaining Pobelter as a season-long MVP. He went through a slump, and then to come flying back in playoffs as dominant as he's been. I forget who I was talking to about. Another pro player was saying that he thought that Pobelter would actually get the series MVP before anything even happened because of how hot he was in scrims.
I can see all the players on stage getting mic'd up. I know you guys are antsy to hear from them. So are we. I want to know what kind of thoughts are swirling through their heads. I know emotions are probably running high and whatnot, so I promise that's coming your way in just a bit. Jat, any more thoughts on this Team Liquid squad, especially as we look towards now what is international aspirations? We got to remember, this is the team representing North America at MSI.
Exactly, and they are a worthy representative, especially with the way they played this playoff series. If the meta stays somewhat bot lane focused, if we get to have impact on those tank picks, I think they're positioned to be pretty good in that. We know how strong this bottom lane has been for them, and especially the way they had team play down the stretch. This wasn't just a superstar team winning every lane and winning the game. They were coming from deficits, and if anything, that's been their biggest strength this split.
Really hasn't, as you said. I mean, 9-1 in playoffs. They've left no doubt that they are the best team in North America. This is the representative you want if you want to see North American success at MSI. And I'm extremely excited to see how they're going to stack up against the world's competition.
Absolutely, a growth mentality for this team throughout the split. I remember about week 5, week 6, we saw or heard from Doublelift this idea that they had been practicing in one way, had to reorient the way they thought. And that was what propelled them into the playoffs in a state that honestly couldn't be matched by any other team, 3-0ing.
Well, especially when they, Doublelift had that interview where he's like, we've been trying a lot of stuff, but we're going to hone in on our play style that we think is our best. And then they did it. A lot of teams
it's not just talk.
Yeah, a lot of teams say like, we're going to figure it out. Don't worry, we got this under control. But they actually backed it up and played a certain way the entire way through the playoffs, and nobody could do anything about it.
I mean, we say that. You got to remember that the person behind them on the stage, that's Coach Kane. We've talked about, to a degree, his inexperience as compared to some of the other coaches in the North American LCS, especially when you're on the big stages, right, in the best of fives. And here he is helping pilot his team, give them the tools necessary to perform at such a high level.
Yeah, I mean, we were kind of joking about it before the playoffs, how he had played best of fives in the promotion tournament, and he'd won all of them.
Right.
But guess what? He still won all of his best of fives because they just smashed through the playoffs. So the way they prepped for individual opponents in this, especially the bans they had in Game 2, where they themselves banned out Caitlyn and Xayah, those are bold calls to make in series like this, where the safe play is just to play for a first pick Caitlyn. But it worked amazingly well for them, and congratulations.
All righty, well, we have waited long enough. Now to hear more about the series from the victors themselves, let's toss it back over to the stage where Avali is standing by with the new champions of the North American LCS.
Thanks, Stash. Guys, I am sitting with the victorious Team Liquid. Now, the first things first is the fourth meme is alive and well, since you guys are the fourth team to take home the NALCS championship title. Congratulations. Kane, I want to come to you first because I spoke with you before this match and it went exactly like you said. You guys came in confident, had a strong performance. I mean, these guys played so well, it looks like they're just making your job incredibly easy. What words do you have to say for your teammates, team members?
이제 선수들한테 얘기해 주실 거 있으시면은 일단은 중간에 시즌에 굉장히 힘들었고 우리 서로 되게 자신감도 많이 잊어버렸었고 우리 잘해야 되는 팀인데 왜 이렇게 힘들었을 때 다들 포기 안 하고 끝까지 따라와서 우리 결승 우승까지 해서 너무 고맙고 특히 피터 결승전엔 피터한테 특히 더 고맙고 굉장히 자랑스러워요.
Yeah, anyways, even though we had the struggles during the mid-season, the mid-split, we didn't perform as well as we expected, but we were able to overcome as a team, and then we were able to not give up, and then we came to the finals, and we actually won the finals. So I'm extremely proud of everyone, and especially for Peter. He performed out of his mind for the playoffs, so everyone.
Everyone did have a phenomenal performance. Impact, I want to look at you cradling the trophy in your arms right now. This is your third time making finals and the first time that you're going home a champion. So what does this long-awaited win mean to you?
Can I speak in Korean? Because
Go for it, buddy.
okay.
We got Dodo.
Sorry guys, but I just want to say 100% so.
You good?
일단 저번에 2016년 때나 17년 때 너무 저희가 이길 뻔했거든요. 제가 신앙에 있을 때. 그래서 그게 좀 아쉬웠었는데 진짜 아쉬웠었는데 이번에 팀원들이 정말 잘해주고 3대 0으로 가가지고 게임 깔끔하게 이겨가지고 그러니까 완전 신난 느낌 아닌데 진짜 좋긴 해요.
Yeah, so in 2016 and 2017, when I was with C9, we came really close to winning the finals, but I couldn't win the finals, so I was really sad. But with this team, everyone played really well. We won as 3-0. I don't want to say it was easy, but we played really well, so I'm really proud of my teammates, and I'm proud.
Yes, you did. You played incredibly well, but I want to point out one play in particular, Smithy. That game one Baron steal, I need to ask you, always pulling off these incredibly clutch plays in these high pressure and crucial moments. How do you keep your cool?
Can I talk in Korean too?
You know what? If you want to hit Korean, I welcome it.
I think. I think just my mindset in general is just to stay neutral, whether if it's like really exciting games or like we're really far behind. I think that's just how my mentality goes. Like from, I don't know how long I've been playing now, but like, I think that's like just my strength, and sometimes it works. Sometimes.
Yes, it did. Pobelter, I want to come to you next. The first time that you took home a championship was actually with Double Lift, 2015, Madison Square Garden. Here we are 3 years later. You guys are reunited and you're taking home another championship. I mean, what does it all mean to you?
Yeah, actually, this felt really similar to the last time we won finals because, like you said, it was with Double Lift, it was with Smithy. We kind of had a really good time going through playoffs, and we weren't really meeting that much resistance. I got to play the same champion 3 times in a row. So yeah, it felt really good. Yeah, today I just woke up and I was like, damn, I think we're gonna win. I just felt that confidence.
Confidence gets you places, but I want to ask you a little bit, at the beginning of the split, we talked about you wanting to prove yourself as the best mid laner in NA, and kind of halfway through, I was asking you on your progress, and you said you didn't feel like you were quite there yet. Well, you're here now, you're taking home the championship. Where are you on that progress?
I guess I made it.
Yes, you did. Double Lift, I have you right next to me, so I'm just going to ask you the questions here. You are the first player to take 3 different teams all the way to the end and win the championship. I mean, what does this accomplishment mean for you and mean for your entire pro play?
Well, it's pretty nice, I gotta say. I remember when the subreddit Double Lift trophy case was just a meme. So, so yeah, I'm getting flashbacks to the first time I won actually on CLG. But honestly, I couldn't be here without my teammates. Like game 1 was really just about Jake's Baron steal, and you know, when we go to MSI, the other junglers have no chance. And then you know, game 2 and 3, I feel like just everyone played super well. Like game 3, Impact got totally screwed top, and he just didn't tilt at all. He was just super positive and just really communicating the whole time. And I think our team is just really solid. Like you can't take any one of us out of the game, and I think we just work so well as a team that it's pretty much nothing to do with me. I'm just a part of a great team.
Just a piece of the puzzle. Wanted to ask you a little bit about your expectations kind of going into the series against 100 Thieves. They had the 5-game series kind of coming into this final and going against your old buddy Afromu.
I felt a little bit nervous because I felt like the expectations were so high. Everyone was saying that, we're the favorites and we should win, but I felt like they were so good. And when we scrimmed them, their bot lane was really strong in practice, and they were beating us a lot. But then we went on stage and they played Caitlyn Thresh against Jin Brum, and he went Doran Shield, so I knew we won.
I want to rewind a bit. I believe at the beginning of the year you had a tweet. You're going to be the hardest working player in the league. Ole says no. Ole's wagging his finger, and I'm holding you accountable for it right now. Where are you on that?
I definitely didn't work as hard as I could. Ole and Impact got the most solo queue games, the Korean mentality. They practice a lot. But I think everyone on the team puts in a lot of work in different ways, and that's why we're so good. We came in, and the thing that was constant throughout the whole split was we practiced more than every other team, so we should win.
And when you did. Ole, I want to come to you and pick your brain on that. First of all, congratulations on your first championship. Next up, Doublelift just got finished singing the praises for the entire team, but we know at the beginning of the split you guys had a little bit of difficulty kind of understanding each other. So how did you guys build that relationship into the successful bot lane that you guys have today?
I think when I played Braum during season, he just told me like, oh, your Braum is fucked up. Fine. I'm sorry. Fine, I'm sorry. He said, my Braum is really terrible, and I promised him I'm gonna work on that because he told me like, oh, maybe you can just give up. You just play Morgan or Stretch. I don't care. And that was, oh, just give me time, please give me time. And actually, his straight words were really good for me because even though I'm good at some other champions, I'm still bad at some other champions. So I don't want to let him feel like I have to only play like some aggressive support. So I work really hard, solo queue, whatever, and watch VOD, whatever. So I think today my Braum was kind of fine. Yeah.
Anything to add?
That's exactly what happened.
That's exactly what happened. Well, kind of overlooking the performance today, Pobelter, how would you rate your team's performance today in this final match?
Gee, I guess like a 9.
Where's the one missing from?
Well, the games weren't perfect. I don't want to be like a Debbie Downer, but, it wasn't perfect. Like, the game 1, we really won off the back of the Baron steal, so, they were in the driver's seat, and then Jake stole it back from the 100 Thieves, but... Yeah, just small things here and there.
Guess we all know who the real thief is. Smithy, why are you giving me that face? Coming back to you, you guys are going to be the representatives for North America in MSI. What can the fans expect from you and the team?
I think the last MSI I went to, we were second place against, we got 3-0'd by SKT. But since SKT is not there anymore, I think we have a big shot at getting first place.
North Americans international saviors. Guys, again, congratulations on the win. Is there anything, look at this. You have had tremendous support from the fans all week and all split long. Is there anything that you'd like to say to the Liquid fans out here? Anyone, if you'd like to chime in.
I didn't know we had so many fans, actually. I guess thank you guys, because I felt like when I switched from TSM, I joined a less popular team, and we weren't performing well either. But now, it was one of the best decisions of my life. So thank you guys.
Kane, anything you'd like to add?
Okay, good job. Let's go, MSI.
Good job, let's go. Ole.
I want to say thank you to Peter because I don't know I can say that, but after we won against Echo Fox, Peter was not there. So even though we won, I was really sad. But yeah, yeah, just. But today I'm really happy Peter is here with us, and I don't know how to say. So I really respect him, and he's really great man. Thank you.
Ole, I think the words you're looking for is "I love you, Peter." But guys, congratulations again on your victory. Back to you guys.
Thank you very much, Avli. Once again, Team Liquid winning in 3-0 fashion, our newest NALCS champions, and moving on to represent us here at MSI. You heard from Pobelter, he called the 9 out of 10 performance, leaving room for improvement. I like that. And Kane, ever the coach, looking forward towards that next tournament.
Let's go MSI.
Definitely, I understand where Pobelter's coming from, but you can enjoy it for a little bit. You don't need to go right back to the VOD room.
All right. Now, that said, I want to touch on a few things said during that interview. First up, Impact, talking about how while it was a 3-0, it was not necessarily easy. And I do think we have to tip our caps to 100 Thieves for the fight that they put up, for the performance that they laid out for their first split in the NALCS, finishing regular season as the first seed and finishing second overall.
And it really is one of those things where you look at the score, 3-0, it doesn't tell the full story because game one really was decided, even as they were saying in that interview, by a Baron steal. If 100 Thieves secures that Baron, if they win that first game, you can be looking at a very different series. And you know that TL was taking them very seriously. Double is showing a lot of respect to how well their bottom lane was performing in their matchup.
Yeah, even the top side of the map in game 3, the fact that you heard Impact was down so much but kept a positive mentality. He had to do that because 100 Thieves was playing well.
And you want to talk about, that mental fortitude. I got to ask the question, do you think it's even possible to tilt with Xmithy on your team? The way that guy talks about having the neutral mindset and being so calm, cool, and collected with the 50-50 Baron steals, man, I don't know. I feel like if I had his calming voice in my headset throughout the game, it might not be possible.
It definitely helps, especially when you have a Maokai who CS is getting doubled. You just had a terrible double kill at the top lane. You've lost your turret, and you're just communicating, and you're still making plays with the people that are ahead. You're avoiding the guy that's behind. Impacts or Xmithy aren't the type of player who say, guys, I'm behind, you come gank for me. Like, please, you really got to come. They know what to do. And that's a skill that a lot of teams don't have, and you're going to need that. You're going to need that at MSI because there will be teams that bounce on you early.
Definitely will, and I just think it's these guys that have the mindset of always looking what is next, right? There's no point in focusing on, okay, great, things went wrong, but you can talk about that later. Focus on what is the next play, what is the next move, how do you win the game, and always having a laser focus on that is how you're able to actually find those plays across the map. Xmithy and Pobelter moving around the map, and all of a sudden the top lane deficit doesn't matter.
And a final point on that interview, Doublelift, Pobelter, and Xmithy. These were 3 of 5 guys who brought the first championship to CLG as an organization. They're 3 of 5 guys to bring the first championship to Team Liquid as an organization. But I think what's incredibly poignant is what Doublelift said, that he, just as much as anyone else on that team, is just one small part of a much bigger puzzle.
Yeah, Doublelift says that, and he says, he's just kind of here with his teammates, and that's what a leader should say. And I do think Doublelift is the leader of that team. They play through him. He's the strongest voice by far, and I love his growth as a person. 3 years ago, 4 years ago, if they win, he's just like, yeah, I'm the best. I carried him. That's what he would think, and that's what he would say. But I think now he understands what teamwork is, how valuable his teammates are, and I think his leadership has grown so much.
There's a saying I really like, and I think it kind of applies to Doublelift, and it's, when you're good, you'll tell everyone. When you're great, they'll tell you. Yeah. And I think that really does apply to Doublelift, growing and he doesn't need to talk about how good he is because that's what we're going to do. Yeah. He had a 34 KDA through the playoffs. What is that?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
It's definitely a thing, too, where he had to prove himself over time because he did, for a while, like he said, have that empty trophy case where he got memed on pretty hard, and he had to fight in a relegation match before joining Team Liquid and kind of was a hired gun. His team actually did get relegated once, so this is a guy who has had his ups and downs in his league career.
And, hey, with no SKT, Xmithy says good shot at first.
Well, easy.
That's how long do we have?
Can we hold him to that?
Hey, we got that on tape. That's recorded. You're going to be accountable to that statement later on in the year. Now, throughout the whole split, you at home have taken the time to call out the flashiest plays. And over the finals weekend, you did not let up. So for Miami, here are the LCS big plays brought to you by Acer Predator. First up, Trichromatic implores the teams of the NALCS. What have we learned about 50-50 Barons and Xmithy, guys?
Baron, 1/4 HP, very, very low. Xmithy wanting to go over the wall.
Oh,
He got it! He got it! Xmithy with the steal! Yeah, where's Sesh? Where's Sesh?
Right here, me. I can go. I'm the ace.
Run.
And he gets out, too. You think when the blast cone doesn't hit him over, and then he has to dash into the pit, the fact that he procs Zap Shock, gets a smite, flashes out, everything worked perfect for that
And then
steal.
the super calm. Run. Just everyone get back
very,
to base.
very calm.
Save the Barons. All right, next up, Paz Thales called out the hero of Team Liquid's Game 2, the young POB with the Shurima Shuffle.
Meteos turns on the Predator. Ryu swoops in from the side, and Xmithie, remember, has no flash to speak of. Taken very low. Knocked right back in as Pobelter comes over the Ryu wall. And now it might be Liquid, who's found 100 things in the Ryu match. But a four-man shuffle finds them all, and Liquid finds huge success.
Okay. Go. Nice. Barons at 20. Can we get this?
100 Thieves take down Xmithie, but Pobelter finds vengeance for his friend.
Pobelter quietly has probably one of the best Azirs in the world, definitely in NA, and his ults are so good. Like the top lane one, way back with Immortals, when he got the 5-man ult, he had that one there. He had the one where he just pushed someone back in the double of his ult. His Azir ults always seem to have a huge influence in the game.
Well, he's heading to the world stage, so we can
He gets
test
to prove
that
it.
theory when we get there. Finally, from yesterday's third-place match, Delta Razio put it simply. Dardoch is a lawnmower, and Clutch Gaming is a lawn.
Cyanalty coming across. There's also a Tom Ketch coming around. Tidal Wave again. Oh, he flashes over for a slow. He might be re-engaged upon, though. Where's the team coming across? Weaver's Wall coming down as well. It's going to be a giant team fight now. Solar ringing out pretty rapidly, trying to kite away, but he will drop. And that's 2 kills already for Echo Fox. They're looking to add more to the tally. 3 kills already.
We can win.
Yeah, we can. TK no flash. Hitting Sion. Hitting Sion no flash. Sion and TK no flash. Nice. Kate? Yeah, wipe them. Go Kate, no flash.
I think that was a very apt description. I mean, Dardoch was taking over the series yesterday.
Yeah,
without
that was
a
the
doubt.
close game. That was the closest game of the series. The other ones were more brutal.
Absolutely steamrolling through the competition there. Thank you for keeping up the tweets all split long, and I hope to see you delivering just as much fervor when we ship off to MSI. Now, with that, a reminder that signups for the NA Clash Open Beta start April 9th. Make sure you sign up so you and your squad can participate in League's new tournament mode April 13th. For more information, check out the landing page in the client tomorrow. Now, as we crown the champs, let's take one last look at the bracket Team Liquid had to get through to earn their first championship. Team Liquid took down Cloud9 and Echo Fox, the two teams who constantly battled for first place throughout the spring split, leading them to today's series against the #1 seed, where they vanquished 100 Thieves in 3-0 fashion. That means Team Liquid will be shipping off to MSI with the intent of making NA proud in the first international tournament of the split. Who will be joining them so far on the list? We have Kaboom, Gambit, Fnatic, Ascension, Direwolves, and EVOS Esports. A few more teams to be decided to be heading that way as well.
I am really looking forward and hoping we get to see Doublelift versus Reckless, because he absolutely smashed his own series today, playing that Tristana himself a couple times, and I would love to see the two Western 80 carries compete for that Best in the West title we love to throw around so much.
Also really excited to see who's going to be coming out of the LPL and the LCK. IG and Kingzone Dragon X have been looking insane, so would love to see them face off.
And Jad, I think following this playoff run, we can pretty confidently say that we're sending the best NA team to MSI. There's no question about that, right?
Yeah, I agree. We can say that. And
do we know?
Can
we say it definitively and believe it?
Every year, we're like, all right, NA's got no chance, man. And then you see a team, and through the playoffs, you like talk yourself into thinking that they're going to smash.
Hope springs eternal.
They're going to smash Dash. Clearly.
That's what, hey, we're going to smash.
Smithy told us we get finals.
Yeah. I'm really excited to see it, too, because these are all guys that have experience and have been there before. Like, Impact is always a high performer on the international stage, right? Pobelter, Xmithie, Doublelift have all been going to international tournaments for years now. Ole went there last year, so hopefully they can learn from some of their past failures and have a better showing this year.
We wait on bated breath. Now, after we call it a day, make sure to tune in for a rebroadcast of the EU final played earlier today. But now for myself, the casters, and the entire live broadcast crew, thank you, Miami, and thank you for watching. We'll see you at MSI. Good night.